learned Poi Gunslingers, now what comes next? Drex here from Drex Factor Poi, sharing with you the love of poi spinning and flow arts to benefit your body and brain. And today, I'm going to share with you my picks for what comes next after you learn one of my very favorite poi moves. But before we dive in, I just want to give a quick shout out to the friends of the channel. Big thanks to Dark Monk, Flow Fests, Flow Toys, Juggling Calling, Pyroterra Light Toys, Spinballs, and Ultrapoi for helping to make the videos on this channel possible. You can learn more about all of these amazing businesses and what they're doing to support flow artists like yourself by checking out the links that I have down in the description of this video. And special thanks to non-business friends of the channel, Johnny Howard and Lain Mochinsky. Thank you both so very much for your support for my work and my mission. So stop me if you've heard this story before. You have spent countless hours drilling and working towards a trick, and you finally got it down, and you're so proud. But what do you do after that? Do you go back and learn another trick and go through that process again? You kind of feel attached to the work you just did. Isn't there anything more that you can get out of the work you've already done? Why, yes, friend, there is, because it turns out many of the poi tricks that we learn have variations or other related tricks that are relatively easy to get once you have the basics under your belt. And that's what this series is for. It's not a tutorial, it's not really a combo, it's what comes next, and it's how you can get more out of the stuff that you've already learned. And today's video comes by request for Nick Von Ashen, and Nick wants to see me do a video on gunslingers, and I am absolutely frothing at the mouth to get this one done because until he requested it, I didn't know how badly I wanted to do this. Gunslingers, of course, are a type of poi spinning wherein we switch our grip so that rather than holding onto the poi handle, we're holding onto the tether of the poi. That means that we've effectively transformed a single poi into a meteor, and it means that suddenly all the movements of the poi are going way faster than we're used to. Now, as many of you know, gunslingers have been an integral part of my style now for several years, and so thinking about what was important to me to learn after I got those down has been a really fun exercise. And of course, I am always down to show more of a thing that I really like. So I'm going to start this one off with something that is pretty basic, but trust me, it gets to someplace good. And we're going to start off just by learning the basic gunslinger weaves. Now, if you already know how to do gunslingers at all, chances are you already know how to do at least one of these weaves. There's a forwards thumb-led 2-beat as well as a reverse pinky-led 2-beat. And aside from the fact that they kind of like just let you hang out in gunslinger mode before you decide what you're going to do next, they also have the added benefit of setting you up for one of my very favorite gunslinger moves of all time. Namely, if you have mastered going back and forth between your forwards thumb lead and your reverse pinky lead, you can also turn this into a full flower. How? Basically, you turn the transition back and forth into a move that goes up and down, fully turning the entire thing into an anti-spin flower, namely a 10-petal one if you count both ends. For my number 2 pick, we're also going to keep it pretty basic, and I'm going to suggest that you learn how to do your spiral wraps in gunslinger mode. Spiral wraps are an absolute mainstay of poi spinning in general, but they take on even more special significance with gunslingers. I would argue, quite frankly, that doing spiral wraps is one of the reasons that gunslingers were created in the first place. And you can't get around the fact that they look incredibly catchy. I would honestly argue that spiral wraps are one of the great staples of gunslingers. I mean, the original combo of gunslingers was literally just entering into them, doing the spiral wrap, and returning to a normal grip. So it's kind of baked into the pudding here. It's also a great exercise to learn how to do these spiral wraps when your poi is moving so incredibly fast and you're having to really quickly change things on the fly, which is going to be a theme for the entire time you're playing around with gunslingers. So before I share with you my number 1 pick, I do have a favor to ask. Because if you've come this far, it likely means that you find poi intriguing and would like to learn more about it. Guess what? I make lots of videos about poi, whether they be reviews, flow sessions, or what comes next like you're watching right now. So if you could, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, you know the whole deal. This is going to help you make sure that you see all of my poi videos in the future, so keep an eye out. And of course, pretty please leave me your requests for tricks that you would like to see me cover in future installments of What Comes Next. I get all the ideas for this series from those of you out there, so help me help you. And now for my number 1 pick of what comes next when it comes to gunslingers. Yeah, this one's kind of selfish, but I have to give it to the rap entry. Without this, I don't know if I really would have gotten into gunslingers like I have. So I consider there to be two primary entries into Gunslingers. One is the wrap entry, that is the classic we all know and love, and the other, of course, being the wrap entry, where you wrap the tether halfway around your hand before you release the handle and re-establish your grip in the middle. It's something that was first showed to me by Cryptic Firecat years ago, and it has become such a staple of how I enter and exit Gunslingers that I just can't think of Gunslingers without it. Now, there's nothing wrong with doing the other entry, which I usually refer to as the slide entry. This is just another tool to have in your toolbox, and one of the things that's really good about it is it takes 2 beats to enter. Also, you can essentially do the same move in reverse on the other side to exit back out of the Gunslinger. It's eye-catching, it is definitely a staple of my style, and I wish I saw more of it out there, so it's my #1 pick for what comes next when you learn Gunslingers. What did you think of my picks? Did I leave any out? Leave me a comment and let me know. What would you have put on a list of what comes next after you learn Gunslingers? This video would not have been possible without the kind support of these amazing folks right here. These are my Flow patrons over on Patreon, and they, along with the wonderful people listed down in the description, help to make this video and all the videos on this channel possible. Do you like Poi content? Do you like tutorials? Do you like reviews? Do you like what comes next? I'm on a mission to bring Poi spinning and flow arts to the wider world and help people connect with their brains and their bodies as creative individuals. So help me do it. Head on over to patreon.com/DrexFactorPoi and sign up. There you can get early access to my content as well as exclusive lessons that are available only to my Patreon supporters. So I'm hoping that you were inspired to support this work, so go and please check that out. Thank you in advance. Okay, this was super fun because I got to play around with some more advanced stuff here, and goodness only knows all of the work that went into learning Gunslingers. It was quite a lot to get there, and I was very, very grateful for being able to find things that were kind of lateral movements once I got there. So hopefully this helps some of you out there who are playing around with Gunslingers to do the same. If you'd like to check out more videos in my What Comes Next series, I will leave a link to a playlist of them down in the description as well as up on screen if you're watching on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching. Get outside and flow this weekend, and I will see you with a new video on Monday. Peace.